can also do that on one line. Just hold down Option. It's just a quick way to move a line of code up or down.
I've been seeing you delete a line just by having your cursor on it. How do you do that?
Command X.
Thanks.
And I believe,
Wait, that deletes the whole line
yeah,
without having to highlight it all?
yeah.
Sweet.
It also copies it. Command X deletes it and copies it. So you can do Command V after. Okay. So that's a little better. I think maybe like throwing this, there's something in semantic called a segment. It's just kind of like a div with a border. Why is that? Did I just like delete something? I think in all of this, yeah, I think I've like deleted stuff. I'm just gonna undo this. Okay, so what I really wanted, I wanted my button down below this render GE function, and then I want a segment here. So import segment from React UI. And then just close that. Okay. Show form. Okay. Why is my form in such, oh, my form's in a weird spot too. So I'm going to throw my form below the button.
Was there something you had to import for segment, or did you define it somewhere? Because mine's giving me the red squiggly line.
Yeah, I need to, you import segment from Semantic UI React. What else? Maybe this GE thing should be wrapped in a segment too. I mean, it's a card. I made that a card, but where is it? That's the thing component. Let's see if we wrap that in the segment. It just gives it like some spacing. But this might like a card in a segment's probably actually going to look bad. Whatever. Just no, why is there no margin on that card? Maybe if I do this whole card content. Let me get rid of that segment. Okay, that's a little, it's just like some padding. So what I did with this is this card content was self-closing. But if I wrap all of this stuff in the card content, now all of this, like my form, my button, is all in this card content. And what that does, just gives it a little padding. Which helps that look a little better. Oh, but now, oh, now this is, so I'm going to do this. Oh, wait, and then that breaks my header. Never mind, that doesn't work. Okay. Maybe in the card, I'll just do this. I'll do some padding. That's really all I want. I just want some padding on that. Whatever. And then my form. You don't have to do, this is all just styling stuff. It's not even Maybe try to wrap all of this in a segment. It doesn't really look that much better. It's just more like, it's more organized and like where the things are. Like that's the GE thing. Then show my form. I thought I had that say new. What is that? My GE. Show form. I want this to say new thing. Okay. Then we got our edits. All right, so let's do our new function first. So just pretty simple. We just have a name and then we hit add, send that up to the database, save it and add it to our UI. So we're gonna be, this is kind of like how we first learned React. We're holding all of our state, our things in this GE component. So what I want to do is, let's do a add thing method. And this is just we're gonna do all the API calls in our form. So for this, we're just gonna take the thing and add it to our state. So we can do like new, we can actually just do this in one method, set in one line. We can do set things. We can spread out over our things of our original state and just at the first, throw that first thing in there. And then I can pass this to my new form. This is updating, or this is really adding thing to UI. So I pass this add thing method to my thing form. And then on my submit, I can check, do I have props.id? That's our update else. We're going to do our create, which is where we're at. So here we can do our, let's just do the API call right here. And make this async. Let's do let response. So it's going to try catch. Let res equal axios.put. We're going to go to API, GES, then the ID of the thing. So the ID of the GE, which actually, do we have that? I don't know if we actually, I don't know if we're getting that yet. And then we're going to go to things. And sorry, this is going to be a post. So I need the ID of the G here. Let's go back to where we create this form. So, and this is where this is kind of a little confusing because we have two IDs here. So we have this thing form. So we could potentially have a thing ID or not. That's optional, but we're definitely always going to need the GID. So we're going to need that for both of our paths. So this one's going to need, our update's going to need the prop, well, I'm calling it props.id. And let's just call this one, just to kind of follow along with the rels, like what we're calling it with rels, like the props GE_ID. So I need to pass that ID to both of my forms, so I can do the appropriate request. So I need to go back here to this thing form, and I need to pass it that GE_ID prop. And that is going to be equal to, well, I have my GE state right here, but I also have this props.match params ID, so I can use that as well. So this one's a little more complicated because, yeah, we got to keep track of that GE ID, since it's like the thing is that belongs to a G. Okay, so Axios is not defined in my thing form. So let's also do the await Axios.post, import Axios. Okay. So if this is successful, we want to do props.add thing and give this the res.data. And for now, let's just console.log the error. We're definitely going to get an error because this is, we don't have this route set up. Let's just go. Something I can go check though right now is when I do the post request, am I actually going to the right spot? Like I should see an ID here. So I can try this. Thing, new thing. It's in specs. This is going to break. Add. So I'm doing a post to API G's two things. So I have the ID, that 2 matches that up there. That's good. So that's going to the right spot. It's just not set up. So I can just do this in here. I can do props.add thing. Just given an ID, math.random, and then the name. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. When I post a thing, I'm expecting to get back something, an object that has an ID, and then that name that was in my form. So I can at least test, hey, is it going to update to my UI? Let's try this again. New thing. Ooh, yo. So that catches that 404 error, and then it adds it to my UI. I mean, if I refresh, it's not there. It's not in my database, but it's kind of, that's interesting. That says GE thing. That might be because it's not in my database. That's probably screwing some stuff up, but that is it's kind of still working in my UI. Why would that be shown there? That's an interesting one. I'm not going to worry about that for now. We'll see if that bug's still there when we set this up with our backend. Cool. So now let's go do the update. So for the update, that's here where we render things. Remember, we go through each thing, we map over it, spread over it. And then here's this. So once again, all my state is living up in this G show page. So wherever I did that add thing, I'm still also going to want to do the like, this is where I'm going to want to do my update thing. So this is the, just to the UI portion right here. And then I kind of do that update method where I go my things dot map. Go through each of the things in my state. I'll call it T. As long as the T.id, we'll check to see, does that equal the thing.id? If it does, that means I want to replace it because that was the thing that was updated. If not, just keep it what it was. And then here we can set things to this updated things. And now I need to throw this update thing to my all the way down here to my thing method, because this is where that form lives. It lives in my thing component. So I'll pass that down to this thing component as an update thing prop. And then I can pass it finally down here to my form. But this form also needs that ID of the G. So I actually need to pass this down here too. So just what I did with like my new form, I'm going to pass that down here. And then I can say here finally GEID equals props.ge_id. Are you missing like React router? This is a lot easier to do with React router. Now finally in my thing form, that's going to be defined here. And I'm also am going to have the ID as well. So we can throw this in a try catch.
Why aren't you using React Router?
What? Because when we did our UI, our UX, we said, hey, we're going to do all the CRUD actions here. So you might get a UX that's like, yeah, hey, have the new form right here and have the update in these cards. So then we can't.
Oh,
So then we can't go to like a new page.
right. Okay.
Yeah, let's just console.logdr here. Right now, what I'm really trying to do, and I'll put in a wait here. I'm really just making sure like I have this URL right. That's a challenge to like just make sure I'm passing down the GID and then the ID of the thing. Update thing is not defined. So I'm getting update things is not defined in my GE and my thing. Okay, so let's start with my, oh, I think that's because I forgot const probably. No, it's right there, const update thing.
I think online, I think it was 64 though, or 65, sorry. Your update things variable probably needs a const in front of it, right?
Yeah, that's probably it right there. So that's that one. And then line 11, my thing.js update thing. Oh yeah, that needs to be props dot update thing. I mean, this isn't going to do anything. I just want to see. So I want to see the 404 for like a put request to G's to slash things. And then I guess I'm not sure what this ID is, but then there should be that ID. I guess that's one. So it looks like that I had the right request right there. It's just not defined. Okay, so let's go back to my thing form. Kind of do this. Well, this one's going to be props dot update thing. Now for the ID, I mean, this is where this is getting a little like silly. I should have the ID here, props dot ID. I can keep that the same. I'm going to delete this so this isn't like huge, like that this works, that you get the ID set correctly here in the error. But yeah, because what that's kind of what I'm expecting here is I'm expecting just to update the thing with res.data. But since this is broken, I'm just kind of, well, this is what I'm kind of expecting res.data to look like. It's going to have an ID and then a name. And I'm just kind of like using these values for now. Let's refresh this. Edit. Do it. Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, I hit the edit button. So yeah, now when I update it, it updates the UI. I could. So I could pass this set show form here. Once again, this is kind of a little bonus. I could pass my set show form function to my thing form in my update. And then in my update, and since I could set show form to false, let's see if that toggles it. Oh, I gotta call this props dot set show form. So when I hit update, it changes my form and then it hides it for me. And then let's try it on this one. Cool. That's a bonus. Once again, like those kind of things in the hackathon, they're not going to get you points, but so my edit is done. Let's just do one more thing. That edit button is just obnoxious. Let's do something that's like really nice. I feel like, and pretty easy with Bootstrap, like icons. Icons can go a long way to make your UI look pretty nice, and they're not super hard to do if you have something like semantic. Do I have a search? So maybe we want like a pencil for like update. And what I could do here is in my GE show page. Where was that? That's in my, it's in my thing. Yeah, instead of doing this, let me see what this copied. Let's use, instead of this button, let's try an icon. Or wait, maybe there's a way to do a button icon. So it is. Button icon, let's try this one. Oh yeah, it seems like if we throw an icon in the button, maybe that will make it look a little better. So I'm just, instead of saying edit, I'm going to say icon. I need to make sure I import icon. And then the name of this one was a pencil. Oh, let's also get rid of this width. Let's see if that changes anything. I will not make that like go so big. If I get rid of that button group. Nope. This is not like the way you want to like style stuff by hard coding widths, but whatever. So now I have this button. Because another thing we could do with this is another button with an icon, make this red, I think trash could be one. Now we have like an edit and, you know, our trash button for delete. Just, I don't know, it's not like super fancy, but makes it look a little better. So for this, so now I added this extra button here, and this one is going to be our delete. So delete. We're gonna have to pull this from props. Props dot delete. Let's call this delete thing. This is where we're going to actually want to call this function. Pass it the ID, props.id. Now, so I'm calling this props.delete thing button. If I go try to run this right now, I'm going to get an error. Like I click on this. Props.delete things, not a function. That makes sense, right? I haven't passed the delete thing prop down to this component. So I need to do that. So wherever I render this in my GE, I can't find it. Right here. I need to pass this delete thing prop down. So now it's no longer props.delete thing is now defined because I'm passing it down as a prop. But in my component, my G component, this delete thing's not defined. So I need to define that. Const delete thing. That takes an ID. Just console.log the ID. Now that's defined. When I click on the delete, it's logging the ID of the thing I'm clicking on. Cool, so now we can make this async. We can go ahead and do our Axios call right here for this. Yeah. Let response equal await axios.get or delete. So this is going to be or has many to our API / G's, then the ID of the G. It's not, this is the ID. I mean, I could be more clear and call this thing ID. That might be a little more explicit. Really what I want is the GID. So that's, I'm going to grab this props.match params ID. And then we can go to things and then thing ID. Yeah, so this is like the first time with has many with React. So yeah, this can be, it's just really, it's a matter of matching these URLs to your to your API. So I want to delete something. Well, I need to go to API Gs. I need the actual ID of the G, then things, and then I need that ID of the thing. That should take me to that. Then the backend, then it's like the backend's job to destroy it. As a front-end developer, it's just my job to get that Axios call set up correctly. Cool. And then I'd want to remove from UI here. So that is just going to be my set things.filter. Let's go through each thing. You know, keep it as long as it does not match the ID of the thing that was passed.
On that 84, does it need to be t.id does not equal thing ID, or would it work okay with just?
Nope, it needs to be what you just said. Thanks for catching that. And then yeah, for now I can just remove it from the UI. I still want to log the error, but I can just, even though it's not going to delete it from the database in my catch, for now I can just delete it from the UI. Now, all of these things I'm doing in my catch, like setting them here, I definitely don't want to leave those in there when it's working, because I don't want to remove it from my UI if it didn't actually delete from my database. Because then my user would think, hey, it actually is gone from my database. Yeah, pretty bad bug. But now if I click on that, it removes it from the UI. New things, add. And then in my update thing form, or was it in my, where did I do this? It's in my thing. I want to default this to false. That's kind of annoying that that's showing this false. New thing 1. Update 12. The auto toggles. Or was that both of them? Wait, did that update both of them? Ooh, there's a bug. So I click update and it updates both of them. Let's see if it does like all 3 of them. Yeah, okay, so my update's definitely broken. So let's go there. Theme.id. So does it equal the ID of the thing? So it's breaking this thing's, let's do this. Let's do a console.log thing. I might need to wrap this in a. Okay, so if I come in here, update. Why is that not logging? Is that not getting called? Okay. Okay, there it is. There's the ID 1. Let's go ahead and update this one. That's ID 2. What am I doing wrong here? Wait, what? Now it's not there? Okay, it's, maybe I didn't. I'm confused now. Let me refresh this. Okay, so I'm going to update this to whatever. Okay, it's no longer there. Right? I don't know if I changed, I didn't change anything in here. All right, well. That seems to be working. Now, if this were like a real project, I would definitely like make a note of that in Trello and be like, hey, I saw this weird behavior where I saw it update all the things, can't seem to duplicate it, but this could potentially be a bug. I'd spend a lot more. If this were a real project, I'd go in and double check everything. But it's working. I'm going to call that good. So sweet. That's our CRUD actions on this. We can do create. Oh, wait, I created first. Maybe if I create first and then update a created one. Did that do it? No. Damn it. Okay. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure what caused that. But anyway, I'm going to leave it be. So that's the front end. I'm done. Now this was a ton of work. This is like a lot of logic. There's a lot of places you can get caught up here. I mean, it's not necessarily like that much code, but the code is definitely a lot more complicated. Something I might want to do before I commit this to master is to go change all my error handling right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Like, I don't want, oh wait, and I also want to throw this props.show form here. So I tested that. I can just like go ahead and remove that now. Like that was just me like checking to see that it was working. So I'm going to go remove all that stuff in the catch blocks. So now my catch blocks just like, maybe just like alert error. And they don't do any of the UI stuff. Now, if this is the hackathon and you don't like keep that, if it's working, keep it there until you have to remove it. But for now, I'm just saying like, I'd want to remove all that stuff. Did I get everything? Yeah, right here too. I can't choose that. Let's remove that. Comment it out if you want and go back to that. Okay. So add all this. Commit crud front end things. Oh wait, crap. So now I have errors not defined, thing form JS24. Oh, I called it error here. Cool. So let's add that. Okay, so now I'm actually getting the alerts. So now I can come check this. Okay, those are now failing. Oh, my delete's not failing. Why is my delete not failing? Okay. Let's do it. Oh, I think I don't have my alert for my delete, but now that's not deleting it from the UI. Cool. So that's good. Now my UI is like breaking when it should. Because I got a 404 error. Because maybe my server's down or something. I don't want this to just magically remove from my UI. So now I think I'm feeling pretty good about this. I've gone through, I've tested it. Error. So now I'm ready to commit. So get status. But yeah, now I can't. I'm not going to be able to. Well, I'm already committed. Now I'm ready to push. So now I can't push. There are actually changes up on master. So because if I try to do a get push origin master, I'm not up to date with master, so I need to pull. So now we're like back to the land of like, well, Sally, let's say Sally, like I'm almost done. Sally says she's done with her stuff. So now I can do a get pull. Yeah, I can just quit out of this merge. So now I do have all the things controllers changes. Now, even though like I'm ready to commit right now, if I pull from master, something I should do before I push to master, if I've just pulled, is I should go do another round of testing. I should make sure what I pulled down hasn't broken anything on my end. That's really going to save you stuff, because maybe I did have it working or stuff working, but then I pulled, and something I pulled is going to break what I've done. And if I don't check and then I push that back up to master and then everyone pulls down, well, then everyone has broken code. And this is what we see this happen on hackathons. Like it's the last 5 minutes. Someone pushes up to master, someone pulls, and maybe like they're separated, they were working. But for some reason, when they merge them together, it causes an error. And then they don't check. And then you all have broken code. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to go check this. So now I get a 500 error. Well, that's because I stopped my server. So I need to start my server. Okay, so I'm just going to, like, my home page is working. There's that. You know, even though I didn't really do it, you know, it wouldn't be bad just to go like, you know, my show page is working. That's going to the edit. I'm not going to click delete because this is the only one I have. I'm going to go to show. Cool. That's grabbing all of that. Let's do a name or a new thing here. Okay, so that failed. I was kind of hoping that would work. It's a different error though. It's a 400 error. So I can go check that out. Param is missing or the value is empty thing. Okay. So I know what I did wrong. So I need to go to my, where I do that API call. So in my thing form. What am I doing wrong in both my update and create?
You're not actually sending any data.
Yeah, I forgot to send the data. And yeah, I mean that, since I didn't have the back end working, that was maybe, you know, that's kind of like a downside. I probably would have caught that sooner, but it failed anyway. So yeah, with this one, I'm going to pass the name. Actually, both of these, I just want to pass the name. Because that's the only thing that's on this form. So I make that change. Let's go ahead and refresh. New thing here. Boom, that's working. Something I also see, like maybe I could clear out that form when it's successful. So it's, you know, if it successfully updates or adds, I could set name to an empty string. It's more of a UI thing. New thing 2. So it's adding it, and then yeah, I can refresh. So that's refreshing. Now it's saving to the database. Let's go to my update. Let's put a lot of @ signs here just so update. Let's refresh. Okay, so that's updating to my database. Let's delete it. Refresh. So that was I almost had that working where I didn't even need to change anything. I did all of my front end without a back end. And when they merged, I just had to make that, I forgot that one thing of sending the data to my put and post. But now this is done. Like back end and front end. So now that I've tested this, we get add, git commits -m crud, you know, things complete, and then push that up. And then yeah, tell everyone to update, to pull from master after that. Something that I might want to do as well, I just tested I just tested that on one sub. I might want to like you know, reseed my database. Oh, I think I need to do a Rails DB seed. I could like drop in, create my database just to get the data back. Why not? DB. Where did my data go? Because I don't have my home, I don't have my new working. And that's just great. Let's go to my seeds file. I don't know what I've done. Let's do a Rails DB drop. DB create. DB migrate. DB seed.
Does it have to do with the errors that are on the right side, the proxy error?
Those are React errors. React's trying to. Yes, it does. Okay, I'm an idiot. Yeah, because React's trying to get the data. I dropped my database, and yeah, I didn't restart my server. So yeah, that's the error. It's because I have a 500 error. Because I don't have my server running. And that's what this is saying. Just saying, hey, I tried to do this API call to this URL, but it's down. Let's try now. There we go. So I might want to try, it on both of them. Let's make sure like it's not there. GE1 hello 2. Yeah, I should have my seed file like be appropriate. My seeds files was kind of a little ski-wampus, but yeah, this is looking pretty good. I mean, not the UI. The UI looks horrible, but the functionality is good. The UI is not terrible, but any questions on this? What? You gotta have some questions. Come on. Do you think you're going to be able to do something like this on Saturday?
Out from memory.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't need to do this from memory. That is for sure.
Hey, James, I tried to pull your stuff, and obviously I'm still new at this. I got a bunch of conflicts, and I don't know how to just choose your stuff.
Yes, no, this is perfect. Let's go through some conflicts together. I think this is great. So do you want to share your screen?
Sure.
Because you were like trying to follow along and then you pulled.
Yeah.
Cool,
Well, and I
perfect.
had missed a bunch of it. I can't share until you stop. Okay, cool. Here we go. So I've got all these blue and green things.
Yeah, so okay, so what this is, it's just like differences between like what I've done and what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is where these conflicts can get like pretty messy, because like if people are doing a lot of work on the same file, there's going to be a lot of conflicts. So one strategy is just to like go through and you can accept all the incoming changes
How do you do that?
So if you see up above, like, you see how like above where it says like head, there's like those little things.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So I can just accept the incoming.
Because those would be my changes.
Okay, cool. I didn't see those.
Is that what other ones do you have? But yeah, you might. So like this one. Yeah, I mean, because all this is saying, it's like the only difference here is one has segment and the other doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, which one do you want? Do incoming as segment.
Mm, I'm just gonna accept you like yours is right and mine's wrong. So okay, cool.
And S, you have. So if you go to the left icon, the file explorer one on the top. It should were those the only two? Because they should be like pink. There should be like a pink thing with like a C by them if there's a conflict. And then also, yeah, in your terminal, it should say where the conflicts are. So you have the conflict in ge.js, which we fixed. Do you have one in the things controller? Or did it merge that one? So API things controller. Yeah, so click that API folder.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, so here's one. Was there not like, there should be,
Is that just space?
yeah.
Is the only difference is that line?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna accept that one. Cool. All right, so you just read where the conflict is and then go choose whether you're keeping yours or the incoming one or both.
Yeah, and now you can do a get status in your terminal. So it should still. So are those those are the three files, right? Are there any more?
Well, those are the three that I updated.
But are there any more that have it? Go back to where it says conflicts, to where you had that conflict message. So yeah, there's three. There's one in thing.js, one in ge.js, and one in your things controller. But I think we fixed those all.
Yep.
So now you've changed those files. So now you need to commit.
Okay, cool.
And then you can just say like merged conflicts or something here.
All right.
So now after you've merged, like you'd want to go a good practice after you merge conflicts, once again, go test stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because when you merge stuff, that's kind of like you taking control and like, yeah, you might have broken something you've pulled from master. It's always good to
test. Cool.
Does anyone else have? I think who else has some merge conflicts? Anyone? So yeah, when you're going through those with your team, it's just try not to. I mean, that it's just like you really have to be knowing what you're doing when you're like, are you accepting the ones from master, or do you want to accept yours? Or you can accept both and then kind of like go in and manually fix it. So there might be parts of yours you want to keep and parts of master you want to keep. So
yesterday you were saying to push to master, but then when we got into homework, Taylor and Danny were saying to make our own branch with our name. And I was wondering how, like, what exactly we should do.
Yeah, I kind of wish they didn't do branches. I mean, we will be using branches. Branches is the preferred method, but I just don't want to. Did they show you how to do pull requests?
I don't remember.
They did. They did.
They did, yeah, because I'll leave that up to your hackathon teams. Try do it on the homework for sure. Get some practice with it. It's definitely a good way because then you can push up to your branch, and then it's not master. And then once you're done and you've got stuff tested, then you can create a pull request. And then there's an opportunity for people to like look at your code before they merge it. So you can't just push up to master. Like someone's going to have to like say, okay, you can merge this to master. So it's kind of like now that other person is responsible too if there's broken code.
So are you saying like if I got assigned a certain project, then as I did little pieces of it, I would commit that to my own branch. And then once I was done with the whole project, then I would push it to the master. But how does it go through somebody else?
Yeah, let me draw this out because this is get out my lovely pen and paper. But yeah, because we'll be doing it a lot, and I think it'll be easier if I can like illustrate this. Let me share my screen. Okay, you can see my lovely UX diagram. Okay, so how do I want to explain this? So let's see, we have like GitHub. Let's say this is like master. This is our master. It's like a copy. It's like our master branch, but this is like the good code on, and we'll say like this is like up above here. This is like the GitHub level. This is the cloud. So living on the internet. Okay. So what you do is, and let's just say there's already a project and there's already a master. So what people do, like you have like Sally over here and Bob, they can both like pull from master. So they get that code and then they have like their own on Git. So this is the Git side of things. So this is on their machine. So on their own machine, they have their own master branch. And what we tend to do or a good strategy, and probably what you do when you like get to a job, is you'll pull from master, and really what you'll be working on branches. So you really like never work on master. What you do is you might have like Bob and Sally have their own master branch, but really what they do is they do like we'll just call this like feature. Yeah, Sally creates a feature branch too or something. We can name these branches whatever. Usually you kind of name them like the feature you're working on. So if I was working on the CRUD backend, I call my branch CRUD backend. But so then you go ahead and do that and you do all the work on your branch here. And so then you're just doing like commits like normal, like do some stuff, make a commit, commit. And then you get to a point where like, hey, I want to push, but you actually push up to a branch up on GitHub. So this would be like Sally feature 1 branch. lives right here. And then Bob could push up to Bob feature. So those are up on GitHub. Like you could be working on here, you could be working on this branch, and Sally could like pull from Bob's branch. Bob could pull from that branch if you needed to. Maybe Sally's working on a feature that's taking like months, and she has all this code. There's just like thousands and thousands of files changed because it's taking months, and it's not ready. It's not ready to be pushed to master because it's not done. But then there's a bug on master. So what Sally does is she goes back to master. She creates a new branch like bug fix, which is then up to date with the master GitHub. It doesn't have any of her changes, but that's the way she can still keep her feature branch like in progress, go back to master and then start doing the bug fixes. And then she can go and like create a branch on GitHub for the bug fix. And then she does what's called a pull request. It's PR. So anytime you want to take one of these branches on GitHub and merge them to master, you do a pull request. Look at this lovely diagram. But the pull request, that generally needs to be approved by someone. So there's this protection around master, like you can't directly nope, that's not allowed. You can't push up to master. You have to push up to a branch and then create a pull request. And then someone's going to, before someone okays that to get merged, they this could be like a senior dev or a teammate, something like that. Does that all of this make sense? My lovely Git diagram.
I thought pull, so you're like pulling it from Sally's thing into the master. Is that? Because
Yeah, the pull request is, so yeah, it's kind of like an overloaded term like everything, but so if we have master, I can do a git pull origin master. So now we're kind of understanding what this master is, right? That's the branch. Let's say if there's a branch on here called like thing, I could do a git pull origin thing. And that would pull from this repo. Like once again, this is my GitHub level. So that's what I'm pulling the code down from that. But then there's also this, it's the same term, like it in like other like Bitbuckets, it's called a merge request, but in GitHub, they call it a pull request. Because like, I don't know, like master wants to pull from the branch. But really I like the merge. I wish it was called a merge request. Because you're like requesting you're requesting the merge. But what they call it a pull request because I have this thing branch and I'm like, hey master, will you pull me into you? So that's why it's a pull request, not to kind of get confused with when you do a get pull origin master.
I see. Same word, different meaning. Good.
It is kind of the same meaning because if I'm pulling from master, I'm pulling from master. I'm just same thing. Master is going to be pulling from thing, but as this thing repo, I'm going to be asking master to pull. So I'm making a pull request. So the terminology is correct. It's just, it's definitely confusing. And it's like, just call it a merge request, bro.
Okay, so I think I understand. I pull down from master, so I have my own copy of master, but then I create a branch to work on my project. And when I do like get push, origin, Elise, then it goes up into GitHub, but as its own thing. And then I have to do a pull request to get it into master. How does that part happen? Do we have to worry about that?
Yeah, let me just do a quick demo with this. So yeah, I'm Bob. I can do a git. So I want to work on a feature. So
Can you
here's
stop screen sharing?
oh yeah, thank you. Actually, I'm going to stop recording and restart it. So this is